Today is the 11th Today is the 11th day of the 10th month in the 9th year of Channel Group, November 15, 2021. To begin our day, let's offer our respect and gratitude to our Heavenly Parent and true parents of heaven, earth, and all humankind. 천지인 참 부모님께 경배 나로. Let us recite 가중맹세.
가정맹세 1. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 본향 땅을 찾아 본연의 창조 이상인 지상 천국과 천상 천국을 창건할 것을 맹세하나이다. 2. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님을 모시어 천주의 대표적 가정이 되며 중심적 가정이 되어 가정에서는 효자, 국가에서는 충신, 세계에서는 성인, 천주에서는 성자의 가정의 도리를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 3. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 4대 심정권과 3대 왕권과 황족권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 4. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님의 창조 이상인 천주 대가족을 형성하여 자유와 평화와 통일과 행복의 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 5. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 매일 주체적 천상세계와 대상적 지상세계의 통일을 향해 전진적 발전을 촉진화할 것을 맹세하나이다. 6. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님의 대신 가정으로서 천운을 움직이는 가정이 되어 하늘의 축복을 주변에 연결시키는 가정을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 7. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 본연의 혈통과 연결된 위하는 생활을 통하여 심정 문화 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 8. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 천일국 시대를 맞이하여 절대신앙, 절대사랑, 절대복종으로 신인의 일체 이상을 이루어 지상천국과 천상천국의 해방권과 석방권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
To lead us on the opening prayer, I would like to invite one of the UPTA educator or lecturer, Mr. Julius Escleto.
Let's pray. Our loving Heavenly Parent and our victorious true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind, good morning. We are so grateful for this morning as we could gather together as one family virtually for this morning devotion that we have initiated by our national leader, Reverend Leo Angelo Halog. We are so grateful for this opportunity that we could again hear your words. It is because it is very important for us to keep on studying your words, because through this that we could develop more our understanding of your heart and of your will, as well as develop our strong vertical connections with you and with our true parents. This is to really be restored through indemnity, this foundation of faith, and that we could overcome in laying an indemnity condition to remove our fallen nature, restoring truth, laying that foundation of substance. And we are so fortunate that we live in the era of our true parents, because only the true parents could bring about transformation from our fallen state into that original sinless state. And also through the blessing that it enables us to inherit your true love, true life, and true lineage. We are the hope of humankind. And knowing this, we have to really be bold in proclaiming our true parents, in becoming channels of your love and blessings, that everyone could receive your blessing. And that through this, that they could be able to return to your bosom. We have to strive hard to really push ourselves in bringing success, bringing victory in fulfilling our responsibilities. True parents and our true mother have a really great vision for humanity to return and be able to realize your substantial ideals. And we have to unite with that vision and also the desires of our true mother for us to uh, become, ultimately become Chonbu families. We ask then your presence to be with us from beginning to end of this session of morning devotion that we have, and receive and absorb everything, whatever inspirations that you want to convey to all of us. Again, we thank you for this opportunity that we could gather together to listen to your precious words. I'd like to offer this prayer with gratefulness and report in my name and my wife's name, Julius and Tammy Escleto Central Blessed Family. Aju.
Joe. Thank you so much, Mr. Julius Excleto, for offering a opening prayer. Hope that God and true parents will enable to accept and be blessed our morning devotion. So let us offer our unison prayer, enable for us to find a confirmation from God and true parents. Jew. Let's give morning greetings for our heavenly parent and true parents. Good morning, our heavenly parent and true parents. Good morning, our leaders, our national leader, Reverend Dr. Leo Angelo Hadog. To all blessed families, Chonbo families, brothers and sisters, good morning. And I welcome to our national morning devotion brought to you by Heavenly Parent Holy Community and the Family Federation for World Peace and Unification Philippines. And I feel delight to express my deepest appreciation in our today's host, National Education Department. And I am John Carlo Nicolas, known as JC. Would be served as moderator in today's morning devotion. So to continue for the continuation of our program, I would like to call on Miss Judy Limod to lead us on the Hondok reading.
Good morning, Heavenly Parents and true parents. Good morning, elders, brothers, and sisters. So today's reading is taken from the book, The Mother of Peace, a memoir by Hakcha Han. Chapter 4, God's light shines upon a path of thorns. Continuation. One would have wondered, was God truly with us? Was this all part of God's plan? Then one of our young American leaders jumped onto the top of the home team dugout, raised his arms like a conductor in front of an orchestra, and started singing at the top of his lungs, "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray." It was like a signal flare. With one heart, everyone began to sing, "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine." A magnificent chorus spread through the stadium, and tears of joy mixed with the drops of rain flowing down everyone's faces. The summer squall, our opponents' criticisms, and the scramble to protect the equipment, these had only bolstered our spirits. Even though we were so, to no one sought shelter. Heaven was the shelter that united the people of all races, nations, and religions that filled the stadium. That singing was the condition of faith and unity that moved God. The skies over the stadium began to brighten. The darkness cast in both heaven and earth was lifted. Rays of sunshine appeared, and the festival, which seemed utterly demolished, was reborn. Our volunteers swept the stage, wiped off media equipment, and cleared the grounds of fallen signage. Now, with the sunshine warming everyone, the program began. Before he went out to the stage, my husband said a prayer. Then he grabbed my hand and said, "Thanks to your sincere devotion and prayer, I am going on stage today." My husband's smile of gratitude was warmer than the sun that was shining through the clouds. I truly felt that we and our entire global family had pierced the darkness. From the borderline of death, we had resurrected into the bright future for heaven and earth. I brushed the cold raindrops from my face and gave him a hug of encouragement. We had strong faith in God and in the salvation of the world, and we did not lose courage because we were fully aware that God was with us. Compared to the hardships and oppression we faced in our homeland before coming to the United States, this was nothing. We transformed shouts of opposition into songs of glory. The pouring rain and gusts of wind blew away our signs, but not our love. As my husband took the stage, the audience greeted him with a loud applause. "Who are the true Americans?" he asked. True Americans are those who have universal mind. True Americans are those who believe in one family of humankind, transcendent of color and nationality as willed by God. True Americans are those who are proud of such international families, churches, and nations consisting of all peoples. With faith and courage, the rally was a great success. It was 30 years later, in June of 2006, on our sprawling complex on Cheongpyeong Lake in the Republic of Korea, that our movement opened its global capital, the Cheonjong Palace. In its gardens, I did not plant roses or lilies. I planted daffodils. And early each spring, as I see the yellow flowers peeking out from under the melting winter snow, I gently reminded of the Yankee Stadium event. Daffodils, which overcome the wind and snow, are a signal for the advent of new life. Their bright little petals, the color of sunlight, are the first sign that spring has finally come. They will always be here in a special place in my heart. To me, they symbolize the beauty and peace that is blossoming worldwide in our movement. They are seemingly small, but within them is a surge of new life that leads us to forget that there ever was a winter. As a summer rain fell upon the lawn. In his 1991 novel, Mao II, an American writer, Don DeLillo, described the unification movement's mass weddings as opening the path forward for humanity. Interestingly, he depicted our 1982 blessing ceremony at Madison Square Garden as having taken place at Yankee Stadium. Mr. DeLillo, in any case, described a oneness and harmony among thousands of young couples devoting their marriage and family to God, and observed, "We all are Moonies, or should be." Back then, we were known, often not affectionately, as the Moonies. The name was a creation of the media. We were new and exciting. Regardless of the name, Mr. DeLillo grasped something profound. I'm sure millions of Americans had similar intuitions. Everyone indeed should and will someday participate in the blessing of marriage for world peace. When my husband and I arrived in the United States in December of 1971, 5 years before the Yankee Stadium rally, we saw a world adrift on a chartless ocean with no compass. The threat of communism was growing and Christianity was losing strength. The Christian theologians even came up with justifications for communism. Young people wandered about, having no purpose or goal, seduced by sexual temptation and the false freedom advertised by the birth control pill. The United States, founded in the blood and sweat of people of faith who had crossed the Atlantic, risking their lives in pursuit of religious freedom, was breaking its covenant with God. From the moment of our arrival in America, we rushed forward, infused with heavenly energy. Increasing numbers of young people in the United States and the Western world were drawn to our idealistic teachings. We shared our hearts with the members about the challenges the world was facing and the responsibilities that together with them we wished to fulfill. The democratic world is facing an urgent crisis due to the threat of communism. We explained, we must invest everything in order to overcome this. Adieu.
Ju, I know that all of you has inspired to read True Mother's words. So let's give a round of applause from our Heavenly Parents and True Parents. And round of applause to Miss Jubilee Dalagan Lomod to lead us on the subject. Miss Jubilee Lomod is also a UPTA educator aside from Bohol center leader. And thank you so much once again. And for the continuation of our program, All of us are known that our life of faith must begin on the life of gratitude, and the gratitude is the expressions of our yojong or filial piety. So to share her 10 points of gratitude, I would like to call one of the UPTA educator or lecturer, Miss Christine Bell Olmilio de Yapera, with virtual round of applause.
So good morning, Heavenly Parent and true parents. Good morning, leaders, elders, brothers, and sisters. So I will be sharing today my gratitude points. So my first point of gratitude would be the gift of life. So I am truly grateful that I was able to wake up on this wonderful morning and be given this opportunity to share in front of all of you. And then second, I am really grateful for Heavenly Parent for the protection, the love, wisdom, and guidance that we all continuously receive from him. Despite of all our shortcomings and lapses, he is still there providing for all of us. And with that, I'm also grateful for true parents for laying all the groundwork and for creating a path for all of us to follow and leading a life centered on our Heavenly Parents' will. So fourth, I am grateful for our leaders, especially to our national leader for his continuous investment in nurturing us every day through our morning devotion. So thank you so much, Paul. Fifth, I am grateful with all my brothers and sisters surrounding me for helping me to grow and constantly reminding me of how to live and love for the sake of others and not only for myself. Yeah. And then sixth, I am grateful to my family, my parents for continuously nurturing us as well and supporting each other. I am also grateful for my being here in the headquarters and allowing me to experience more of the frontline life and providing me countless opportunities to deepen my faith and hasten my skills. Yeah. Eighth, I am grateful to be one of the fortunate students who can still study despite the pandemic. For not all students have the opportunity or have the resources to study. So I am grateful despite of all the challenges that I could still study together with the rest of the other students who can still study on this kind of setup. So with it also, I am grateful that I can expand my horizons, explore other networks, and get a glimpse of how the secular worlds work. So yeah. And then lastly, I am very grateful to all of our elders and brothers and sisters who are here, that despite not being together physically, we all still make time to be present and show ourselves. So yeah, continuously inspiring and setting up an example for all the young people of keeping the tradition of doing hunduke. So yeah, thank you so much, elders and brothers and sisters, for that. So yeah, that would be all, Anju.
Wow. Thank you so much. We also appreciate your appreciation. Thank you for your wonderful 10 points of gratitude. So let's give her a virtual round of applause. So for the continuation, to render a musical offering, I would like to invite the Bohol Center full-time members.
Turn to mine, open the eyes of the blind. There's no one like you, none like you. Into the darkness I shine, out of the ashes arise. There's no one like you. Our God is greater, our God is stronger. God, you are higher than any other. Our God is healer, awesome in power. Our God, our God. Into the darkness we shine. Out of the ashes we rise. There's no one like you, no one like you. Our God is greater, our God is stronger. God, you are higher than any other. Our God is healer, awesome in power. Our God, our God. Our God is greater, our God is stronger. God, you are higher than any other. Our God is healer, awesome in power. Our God, our God. And if our God is for us, then who could ever stop us? And if our God is with us, then what could stand against? And if our God is for us, then who could ever stop us? And if our God is with us, then what could stand against? And what could stand against? Our God is greater, our God is stronger. God, you are higher than any other. Our God is healer, awesome in power. Our God, our God. Our God is greater, our God is stronger. God, you are higher than any other. Our God is healer, awesome in power. Our God, our God. And if our God is for us, then who could ever stop us? And if our God is with us, then what could stand against? And if our God is for us, then who could ever stop us? And if our God is with us, then what could stand against? What could stand against? What could stand against?
Wow! Palakpakan naman natin ang ating buhay also from UPTA. They are also a lecturers or educators. Thank you so much for very beautiful song. Our God is greater because of His chaksarang and the heart of love. And our God is stronger because God never giving up to restore His lost sons and daughters in the providence of restoration. Aju, thank you so much once again from very, very beautiful offering song. And now let us proceed in the main part of our program. Let's not further ado, let us welcome our father in our national providence, our national leader, Reverend Dr. Leo Angelo Halog with thunderous virtual round of applause.
Thank you very much, our brother JC, our MC for today's morning devotion. First, I would like to greet our heavenly parents and true parents. Good morning, our heavenly parents and true parents. To all our beloved leaders, Chango families, the Central families, beloved brothers and sisters, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Thank you so much once again for joining today's morning devotion. I really appreciate our brothers and sisters from the Education Department today who are hosting our morning devotion. Thank you so much for that really very inspiring song from our brothers and sisters from Bohol. It was truly very inspiring. Thank you so much for your wonderful performance. And also for the 10 points of gratitude shared to us by our sister Christine. Thank you for that heartfelt sharing, our sister Christine. And to all who took some part in our morning devotion today, maraming salamat po. So today we are in the 8th day of our 40th day of our national morning devotion. So today I would like to continue today my topic yesterday. So maybe this will be the last on this topic, and then we'll be starting new one tomorrow. So today we're going to continue with this topic, love and affection between husband and wife. Let us study together the parents' words. So Father said, love's affection can bloom even from pity and eventually lead to unity. What is the solution for unity? It is the heart to love each other. Love can come from pity as well as from liking. Few couples love each other from the start. Love grows with time. A woman marries a man who is absolutely stubborn and thinks that man is totally unlovable. Then the woman takes pity on him for the many obstacles that he must confront because of the stubbornness. Then when her pity turns to love, the man can find solace in her. The woman might even find her husband's stubbornness useful because she is not stubborn enough herself, and this way turns his stubbornness to mutual advantage. So love's affection can bloom even from pity and eventually lead to unity. So this is a very wonderful. Father's explaining here that what is the solution for unity. So the most important is to have the heart to love each other. Even what kind of person your spouse is. Father is saying here that love can come from pity as well as from liking. So not only that in the beginning you like the person, you like your spouse, but even, in the beginning, like you pity your spouse. But, love can start from there. So love can come, Father said, from pity as well as from liking. Few couples love each other from the start. We have some situations like that. When, we were matched, immediately we started to like our spouse. Right? But Father said, love grows with time. Yeah, it's different. In the beginning, maybe you like your spouse immediately. When you saw he's handsome, he's beautiful, immediately you like it. But it doesn't mean that's already love. Father said, love grows with time. So love is something that we need to nurture. So that's why there's no such thing as love at first sight. This is just, a fallen, saying. There's no such thing as that. Love grows with time. So it needs time to grow and develop. And it should be done mutually by both, husband and wife. So a woman marries a man who is absolutely stubborn and thinks the man is totally unlovable. Then the woman takes pity on him for the many obstacles that he must confront because of the stubbornness. Then when her pity turns to love, the man can find solace in her. So the woman might even find her husband's stubbornness useful because she is not stubborn enough herself, and this way turns his stubbornness to mutual advantage. So love's affection can bloom even from pity and eventually lead to unity. So the most important is to have the heart to love each other. So despite what kind of man or what kind of woman your spouse is, as long as you have the heart to love that person. So even you pity in the beginning, but that pity, Father said, can turn into love, right? So love's affection can bloom even from pity and eventually lead to unity as long as you have the heart to love each other. Aju, so this is very important. Father said families that live in hardship are not necessarily unhappy. So families that live in hardship are not necessarily unhappy. Sharing a single piece of bread when the husband feeds his wife even though he does not eat, or the wife feeds her husband even though she goes hungry. How deep is the love in that family? So it doesn't mean, that only material things that can give you happiness. So as what people now trying to live their life is, right? So material things is not only, it doesn't mean that people who doesn't have much material things are unhappy, right? So families who are living in hardship doesn't mean they are unhappy. What Father is saying here. So families that live in hardship are not necessarily unhappy. Like most important is like this example that Father is saying, sharing a single piece of bread when the husband feeds his wife, even though he does not eat, or the wife feeds her husband, even though she goes hungry. So what makes, really their relationship happy? The heart of willingness to sacrifice for each other. That's the most important. Really willing to sacrifice, give up everything for the sake of the spouse. Like for this example that Father is saying, like the husband, willing to sacrifice just to feed his wife, even he will not eat. Or the wife feeds her husband, even the wife goes hungry. Father said, how deep is the love in that family? So that is the most important. Many people are living life, very luxurious life. We cannot, assure that they are happy. It doesn't, mean that they have everything externally. They are happy. If they don't have the heart of willingness to sacrifice for the sake of each other, then what is the value of having all these things? The most important is having the heart of sacrifice towards each other. Jews, so Father said, how deep is the love in that family? Jew, truly amazing. So it's not only about material things. That's what people is focusing now. We need material things, but it comes, after. We focus on the first blessing, second blessing, and then naturally material things will come. So what we need to focus on, develop that kind of heart. While we are single, so that when you meet your spouse, so once you develop the heart of living for the sake of others, willingness to sacrifice while you are single, while you're young, once you enter in this relationship, you are willing, you can do anything to sacrifice for your spouse. Jew, once you develop this is the most important. Jew, so in the beginning, it's not easy when you start family. So now we are encountering this. We all encountered this. Our elders, those who have started family already. So now many brothers and sisters are starting family. So they are encountering this. It's not easy, to start family. Externally, many things to prepare. And then we couldn't really prepare well externally, because also we didn't focus of just preparing externally. Some people, they will not get, married if they don't have their own house, if they don't have their own car, if they don't have a lot of money in the bank. But that is not our main purpose. We need those things, but that is not our main purpose. Second blessing is to build God-centered family, right? And then after that, then third blessing will come. That's why even the Bible is saying, right? Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you. So very clear actually path we are going. So that's why we have to know our priority. Priority, alam dapat natin clearly what should be done. How to, prepare our heart. How can we, prepare ourselves to really become a person that has that willingness to sacrifice. This kind of things is very, very important. If you couldn't develop that when you enter in the husband and wife relationship, you cannot also sacrifice for the sake of your wife, right? So that's why how to develop this heart, this is very important. So it doesn't mean if you don't have material things enough as others, you are already not happy. But if you have the heart of willingness to sacrifice and love your spouse, this will going to be the thing that really gives you, you know, the happiness that the family needs. Aju, this is really important. Things will come as long as you have this heart to sacrifice, loving each other. Things will really change in your family. Material things will surely come. Heavenly fortune will surely come to your family. Aju, most important, you have this deep love towards each other, willingness to sacrifice for the sake of each other's happiness. Aju, really amazing. This is very important. Father said the husband-wife relationship brings together opposites. A woman is better off taking a wild and rough man for a husband rather than one who is delicate and fine-featured. The husband-wife relationship brings together opposites. Therefore, a woman who takes a wild and tough man as her opposite partner will live happily. The wife who receives the love of such a husband is a happy wife. You women should not forget this and encourage your husbands to be rough and tough. It is the law of love that the strength of a man becomes like a gentle spring breeze in front of a woman. Among men, matters are determined by the strongest fist, but in front of a beloved woman, that fist becomes as soft as cotton. Therefore, a woman should not be afraid of a man who is wild and rough. Rather, she should think that the stronger a man is, the more worthy he is to receive her love. So, you know, even these things, you know, Father's explaining to us very clearly. So, husband and wife relationship brings together opposites. So, as a woman is so gentle, right, and fine, like this is the woman. But a man should be strong, even in our feature, right? That's why man's feature is different from a woman. So, that's why Father is saying that wife, they need to encourage their husband to become rough and tough, Father said. So, a woman should not be afraid of a man who is wild and rough. Rather, she should think that the stronger a man is, the more worthy he is to receive her love. Because sometimes there are men that they act like women, very soft and very, you know, very gentle, fine-featured, like very delicate. Father said a man shouldn't be like that. So if your spouse is like that, Father's saying to the woman, because there are some, we could see many couples, some brothers who are really like, you know, soft, like very soft, very delicate, and fine-featured. Father's telling the wife to encourage your husband to become tough and rough, become rough and tough, become strong. That's what Father's saying here, right? So man is created like that, and woman, so completely opposite. So this husband and wife relationship brings together these opposites and bring them into unity, into oneness. So man should be strong, should be tough, Father said. Then woman is delicate. And then, but in front of the wife, Father is saying here, the strength of a man in front of his wife or spouse, like as soft cotton, so not immediately like changes. So Father is saying here that it is the law of love that the strength of a man becomes like a gentle spring breeze in front of a woman. So even though the man is looks like so strong and tough, but in front of his spouse, in front of his wife, he's like a gentle spring breeze, right? And as soft as cotton in front of the wife. Aju, truly amazing, this kind of relationship of man and woman, husband and wife relationship, bringing the opposites together. But man should stand firm as really a man, right? That's why wife, if your spouse is like very soft, sometimes even more soft than you, sometimes there are situations like that. We can see sometimes husband and wife, the husband is like very gentle, and so the wife needs to encourage the husband to become tough and strong. Aju, aju. So Father said, rather the wife should think that the stronger a man is, the more worthy he is to receive her love. Aju, truly amazing to parents, so beautiful, teaching all these things to us. So that's why wife shouldn't be afraid if your husband is like so tough, because there are some areas, you know, you can see like you know, when I went to Fiji, man there, they're very strong in Fiji. They're number one always with rugby, that game, right? So they need to have a strong body. So woman shouldn't be afraid, Father is saying to that kind of man, but rather she should think that the stronger a man is, the more worthy he is to receive her love. Aju, so husband and wife relationship, bringing the opposites together bringing together into one and into unity. Aju, Father said, try to dig out all the beautiful points in your spouse. Do you wish to become a loving couple that shines like the moon and even like the sun? Try to dig out all the beautiful points in your spouse. It may take a lifetime of digging, and still you cannot fathom them all. Finally, when you arrive in the spirit world, you can plumb love's deepest core. So, really what is most important, Father is saying that we need to dig out all the beautiful points in your spouse. Maybe lifetime is not enough, Father said. You cannot fathom them all, but when you arrive in the spirit world, you can plumb love's deepest core. That's why even sometimes our lifetime is not enough to bring out, the beauty from our spouse. So the beautiful points, beauty of his character. That's why perfecting our spouse, this is our course. This is our responsibility, right? We need to perfect each other, bring out the goodness in our spouse. We are created, as, good. That's why when God created man and woman, it is good. God is a God of goodness. Also, us as children of our heavenly parent, we are a man and woman of goodness. Only because of the fall, all these things were covered up, with fallen nature. That's why you were given to each other to help each other bring out the goodness in each person, the goodness in your spouse. Aju, that's why our lifetimes, Father, even our lifetime might not be enough to dig out all the beautiful points of our spouse. But don't worry, Father said, when you go to the spiritual world, you can plumb love's deepest core. Aju? So each one of us, wish to become a loving couple. Yan naman ang kagustuhan natin. We wanted to become the ideal man, ideal woman, ideal spouse, ideal father, ideal mother that shines like the moon or even like the sun, right? This is what Father is telling us. This is all our desire. But it cannot just, it will not just happen in a sudden. So that's why husband and wife need to help each other to bring out the goodness, the beautiful points between, between each other. This is our responsibility. So it might, not enough our lifetime on earth. Father said, but anyway, don't worry. Just do your best while we are, together with our spouse. Help each other bring out the goodness that is originally in us, right? Originally from the very beginning. That only, just because of our fallen nature that we have inherited because of the fall. But we have to dig out this goodness in each one of us. This is our responsibility as husband and wife. You make your spouse really perfect, really the most, beautiful spouse, not only externally, internally, person of true goodness. Aju, this is our responsibility to make our spouse like that. So if our spouse is still not like that, then we need to put more effort. Sometimes I'm thinking, our character, our attitude, sometimes even we can hear from other people, your spouse is like this, your spouse is like this. So not only the spouse should reflect, the husband or wife needs to reflect. If you hear, some people are saying, why the attitude of your spouse is like this? That is your responsibility to help your spouse, right? That is your responsibility to help your spouse transform, change his character, to become better. This is our responsibility. So we cannot just let our spouse, last time I remember, sabi ni Father, in the relationship of husband and wife, neither is the center, not the husband, not the wife. Hindi ka pwedeng yes lang ng yes sa spouse mo rin. If your spouse is saying or doing not good things, you cannot just always say yes. That's why Father said, neither the husband or wife is the center of the relationship. It is true love. The center is true love. That's why, as husband, hindi lang yung tayo laging, kahit na mali, you always say yes. The same is true with the wife. Kahit na mali, you still say yes.
Sabi ni Father, not the husband nor the wife is the center. The center is true love. Sacrifice. So what is goodness? That should be the center. So hindi pwedeng yes ka lang ng yes sa spouse mo kapag mali naman yung sinasabi niya. That is your responsibility as a husband or wife. I realize this is very, very important in our relationship. That's why it's not the husband or the wife is the center. Father said, it should be, true love, centering on goodness, centering on what is right. Adyo, centering on our Heavenly Parent. This should be the center of this relationship, not the husband, not the wife. Adyo, this is very important in our relationship. So, through this, we can dig out all the beautiful points, the goodness in our spouse. You can bring out. But if you just only follow, kahit na mali, nothing will going to happen in your relationship. 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, still the same. Right? So how to dig out? We need to remember what is the center. Not the husband, not the wife. It is true love. Aju, really amazing, our true parents, teaching all these things. So Father said, wives need to study their husband from every direction. Therefore, wives, study your husbands. You may think he is one way, but then you should discover another side of him. Study him from every possible angle, and you can see the whole universe in him. Then you can think he is more amazing than God. When you married him, you saw him only through a small lens, from one direction, not from all directions. As long as you continue to regard him only from that narrow perspective, you cannot find ideal love. Over the years of living together, you need to study him from every direction. So really, this is very important. Sometimes, how many years na siguro tayo like in my case, we are already 11 years, but still a lot of things I need to discover to my wife. Right? Continuously. Sabi ni Father dito, wives, study your husbands. So you don't know yet your husband. You need to study your husband continuously. You may think he is one way. Nakita mo pa lang siguro for your few years of becoming together. Maybe you only look at the one way, the characteristic of your husband or of your wife. But then you should discover another side of him. Study him from every possible angle, and you can see the whole universe in him. So Father is talking about the wife here. So study your husband, not only one angle. The wholeness of your husband you have to study. And then one day you will going to see the whole universe in him, Father said. Then you can think he is more amazing than God. Wow, truly amazing, right? Truly beautiful, Father said. Once you have that kind of attitude to study your husband and look at every angle of your husband, you will going to see the entire universe, and then you can think he is more amazing than God. Truly amazing, right? So when you married him, you saw him only through a small lens, from one direction, not from all directions. So as long as you continue to regard him only from that narrow perspective, you cannot find ideal love. Kaya nga, Father's talking about the wives here. You cannot just look at your husband only one angle. Otherwise, if you continue with that narrow perspective, sabi ni Father, you cannot find ideal love. So that's why wives, the sisters, you need to look at your husband, in different directions, in different angles, not only one side. Otherwise, you cannot see God in him. But once you open your mind, your heart, and look at every direction, you will going to see the entire universe in your husband. You will also even, see and think how amazing he is, even more than God, Father said. So, if you will not going to go beyond this, then you cannot find ideal love. So, over the years of living together, you need to study him from every direction. So, you need to study your spouse from every direction, not only for the wife, but even husband then. No. So, we have to look at different dimensions from every direction.
Ay, Chelsea, nasa yung charger mo? Parang maulit ako.
So, let's continue. So, Father said, the man you love exists for you, so you can never let him go. Do you have an unforgettable memory of your husband that is most charming? What is it? It is his body. So, observe his entire body. After a fight, you glance at your husband and you will see his eyes blink. They blink just as your eyes blink. Observe carefully his breathing, his eyes, nose, lips, and emotions. All these parts of him are just like you. The man you love exists for you, so you can never let him go. So actually, your spouse exists for you. When you observe Father saying here, you see the same things as what you have, right? So all the things that is in your husband or in your wife exist for you. So Father said, the man you love exists for you, so you can never let him go. So despite the difficulties, in the relationship, sometimes or many times, you cannot let go of your spouse because your spouse exists for you. Aju? Father said, true love never grows old. If your heart never gets old, your love will never grow old either. Your life will never be boring and your lineage will endure forever. True love never grows old. It becomes more beautiful the older it gets. With such a heart, you will always see your husband as the best looking man in the world, and he will look at you as the most beautiful woman in the world. Really, true love never grows old. And then it becomes more beautiful the older it gets. This should be what's happening in the relationship of husband and wife. Ito dapat like us. That's why we should be showing the model. The more kaya nga, when we look at true parents as our ultimate model, can you imagine in their 80s, father before going to the spiritual world, already 90s, and then true mother in her 70s? How beautiful to see them together, very sweet. Can you imagine? That's why we need to really resemble our true parents. The more or the longer we are together as husband and wife, the more closer we should be, right? The more closer we should be. Because you started to know more and more your spouse. You become closer and closer. You are digging deeper and deeper in each other's hearts. Aju? So that's why love never grows old. Hanggang may kanta tayo sa Pilipino, kahit maputi na ang buhok ko. Right? This love never grows old. Very beautiful to see, senior citizens loving each other. Very close relationship with each other. But now, ang nakikita lang natin ngayon sa mga young generations, when they just get married, habang kakakasal lang nila, bago pa. They're very close, pero kapag 2 years na, 3 years na, yung lalaki lagi nang nauuna. Pag naglalakad sila, yung babae laging nauhuli. Wala nang pakialam sa isa't isa. So this kind of, what kind of, generations will come after this kind of generation if we cannot solve this problem, if we cannot show the model that young people needs to follow, right? Actually, love never grows old. True love never grows old. It becomes more beautiful the older it gets. Aju? Really amazing. This is really, really important. That's why the more we stay together with our spouse, the more this love grows. The more become beautiful. More flowers will come and bloom, right? Really amazing. If only we can have this kind of relationship, we are all working for this. Can you imagine? Children will naturally grow in this kind of love of their parents. They will just naturally follow the course that we are going through. But if husband and wife are, the children cannot see our failure of loving each other as husband and wife affects our children. They cannot grow well. They cannot grow, in accordance to what God wanted them. That's why really this relationship of husband and wife, this is everything. This is everything. That's why no matter what, kaya nga, today, this time period, fathers educating us deeply, even us, the central families. We couldn't really understand deeply, right? This relationship, this is the core of building kingdom of heaven. Aju? Raising up young generations, raising up children. This is the core of raising up children. Once this relationship is really very, strong, children will naturally grow up very well. And naturally, it will expand to our tribe, nation, and the world. Aju, really, the longer, true love, the longer we are together with our spouse, the more it gets, stronger. That is true love. Aju? So Father said, it doesn't matter that your wife looks unattractive. It doesn't matter that your wife looks unattractive. Through the eyes of love, she is the most beautiful woman. Regardless of her form on earth, in the spirit world, she will appear young and pretty, transfigured by the light of love that is brighter than any earthly light. A woman who places great store in her beauty is dismayed to see it fade as she grows old, and when she passes on to the other world, she takes on an ugly appearance. On the other hand, a woman who shares a lifetime of love with her husband becomes beautiful in the other world. Her husband becomes the most handsome man. So really, people nowadays are very concerned about their physical look. Father saying here, a woman who places great store in her beauty is dismayed to see it fade as she grows old. And when she passes on to the other world, she takes on an ugly appearance. So that's why, many people, even sometimes, of course, we need to look, beautiful. But too much already. Many people, they change their nose. They had their plastic surgery. They changed the appearance of, these people. Can you imagine these people that had many surgery in their eyes, plastic surgery, or in their faces? When they go to the spiritual world, how they look like there. Father said, when they passes on to the spiritual world, on the other world, takes on an ugly appearance. They will become the most ugliest, these people who are changing their faces. It's okay to put, makeup or other things to look beautiful to your husband no matter what. It's okay. But, these people who are doing plastic surgery, changing the position of their nose, of their, these things, when they go to the spiritual world, they are the ugliest. Right? So that's why Father said, it doesn't matter if your spouse look unattractive. Most important is, really sharing deep love to you as a spouse. That's the most important. And then actually when we go to the spiritual world, we will look young, and our, for the woman, their prettiest face. When we go to the spiritual world, that's why don't worry too much about your appearance physically on earth. Of course, you need to look decent and really clean, and put some little makeup or something in your faces for your husband, right? But changing something in our faces, this is really terrible, right? And when these people go to the spiritual world, they will become they have the ugly appearance. Father said, that's why most important. Father said, a woman who shares a lifetime of love with her husband becomes beautiful in the other world. Her husband becomes the most handsome man also in the spiritual world. So don't worry, as long as, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Everyone actually looks beautiful and handsome. It depends on the ones looking. We are created in God's image. So whatever your spouse looks like, is still, he or she is in God's image, right? We were created in the image of God. So only through the eyes of love, then you are going to see your spouse in the most beautiful appearance, the most handsome appearance, when you look with the eyes of love. Aju, amazing. Father said the light of love is the highest form of light. So the light of love is the highest form of light. Because it is the highest, it has the power to beautify anything. Therefore, think that the wife whom you love is the very light of heaven and earth. She is your love, your dream, your happiness, your freedom, and your peace. Then when you go out of town, should you meet an alluring vixen, you will not be tempted in the least. That temptress would appear like rotten fish in your eyes. So there is no other way to beauty than by the love and light of God. So really, this is the most important. How to carry this kind, how to have this kind of heart and eyes of love and light of God. So Father is saying that the light of love is the highest form of light. So if we have really love, towards our spouse, so really you can look the best and then the most beauty in your spouse, you will going to see always that one. So Father said, because it is the highest, it has the power to beautify anything. As long as you have the love, in your heart and then in your eyes. So Father said, since the light of love is the highest form of light, it has the power to beautify anything. That's why if sometimes, in the beginning, when you look at your spouse, not so much, attractive to your eyes, but when you started to, carry the heart of love and, open your eyes with the, sight of love, you will going to have the power to beautify anything. When you look at your spouse, she's the most beautiful. When you look at your husband, she's the most handsome. Aju? So there's no other way to beauty than by the love and light of God. So once you carry that kind of love from our Heavenly Parent, you have the power to see everything beautiful. Aju? Oh, this is truly very powerful and amazing, right? So when you look at your spouse, Father said, with this kind of heart and sight, she is your love, your dream, your happiness, and your freedom and your peace. Your spouse will become everything to you. Aju? Aju. Father said, just as people have different faces, they have different destinies. A husband and wife are like partners. Just as people have different faces, they have different destinies. If a man has a bad fortune, but he marries a woman whose fortune is good, his fortune can change for the better. Conversely, if a wife's fortune is bad, but her husband's is good, her fortune can change for the better. Over time, the husband and wife balance their destinies, as if they are leveling a mountain and filling in a valley to make a plain. After leveling the ground, the husband and wife can do many things together, such as plowing the fields and cultivating diverse crops and trees. You know, this is very important. Now, Father is talking about this. That's why we are joining the matching. Many things we cannot see in our life, actually. Sometimes, ang nakikita lang natin, short-sighted lang tayo, hindi natin nakikita what is next, actually. This is very important. Why? Absolutely, we are joining the matching. Father said dito. So our young brothers and sisters especially, a husband and wife are like partners just as people have different faces. They have different destinies. Meron tayong magkaibang destiny and then you don't know. Sabi ni Father dito, if a man has a bad fortune, but he marries a woman whose fortune is good, his fortune can change for the better. Who can know this? Only through parents. So that's why if you choose your spouse and then you have a bad fortune, you marry another one with bad fortune, what will going to happen to your life? Your life will become terrible. Even how much effort you're doing. That's why we don't know actually. Sino ba? Kaya nga tayo minamatch ni true parents. Makita pa lang ni true parents, alam na niya sino dapat ang maging spouse mo. Right? So now, even though not directly sina true parents representative. That's why it's very important. A man and a woman has different destinies. Dapat yung may good fortune, may bad fortune, ito dapat yung go together to balance. If you have bad fortune, your ancestors committed a lot of crime and sins, tapos yung napangasawa mo ganun din, can you imagine what will going to happen to your life? So it's good if your spouse has good fortune, ikaw din may good fortune. But how can you find this? You don't know what is next in your life. Only true parents knows this. That's why we are going through the matching. Kaya hindi tayo yung pumipili ng napangasawa natin. So we can avoid, if you have bad fortune and marrying another person with bad fortune, otherwise your life will become terrible. Yung mga anak nyo, very difficult. Aju, this is very important. Conversely, if a wife's fortune is bad but her husband's is good, her fortune can change for the better. Over time, the husband and wife balance their destinies as if they are leveling a mountain and filling in a valley to make a plain. Truly amazing. That's why true parents knows. That's why we are joining the matching so that we can avoid, because we don't know kung tayo ba may bad fortune tayo or may good fortune tayo. Right? So that we can avoid marrying, if we, for example, has bad fortune, to avoid marrying another person with bad fortune. Otherwise, very difficult for our lineage, for our children. Aju? So this is very important. Two beings has different destinies. So very important that the right person should be the ones you will going to marry. Yung right person, not what you want, but the right person, the person you need. Aju? This is very important. So Father said, heaven starts in the family. So heaven starts in the family. Unless you can find God in your spouse, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. That's why really, once we already were blessed, pag na-bless na tayo, nag-start na tayong family, you cannot, look for God anymore anywhere else. Your spouse is already God. So how can you really, find really God in your spouse? That is already once na nag-start na kayo ng family, may spouse ka na. Nag-start na kayo ng family. Your ultimate goal now as a spouse is to find God in your husband or in your wife. So you need to put a lot of effort. If you have some difficulties in relationship, your spouse is from other country, other background, you need to put a lot of effort until the time that you can really say, my spouse is God. You can find already God. You don't need to find God anywhere else. But with your spouse, then that's the only time that you can enter heaven. Heaven begins in the family. And it begins in the relationship of husband and wife. If the spouse already started to see God in his spouse, that is the time. Also, the family can, build kingdom of heaven. Unless you find God in your spouse, you cannot go to the kingdom of heaven. This is really how amazing, how important the family is. And most importantly, the relationship of husband and wife. We need to perfect each other. We need to really find God. You need to dig out deeper and deeper and then bring out the goodness of your spouse and really make him what God expects him to become or what God expects her to become. And until you see God in your spouse, and then that's the time that you can build a heavenly family. And then that's the time also, you can go, that when we go to the spiritual world, we can go to the kingdom of heaven when we find God in our spouse. Truly amazing, this guidance of our beloved true parents. So let's really appreciate our heavenly parents and true parents. Let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you so much, our beloved brothers and sisters, as families. Let's really do our best as husband and wife. Let's really build that family that heaven is longing for. Aju, let's have a great day today, and may heavenly parents' love and blessings be always upon you and your families. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, our national leader, for very, very amazing and very, very wonderful message entitled Love and Affection Between Husband and Wife. Thank you so much, and let's give our national leader a virtual round of applause. And then, some comments. National leader says that there is no something love at first sight. Yes, it's really true, because love takes place before can develop. So therefore, before you can become ideal couple, you need to undergo in the 3 stages wherein you are in the struggling couple, indemnity couple, until you become ideal couple. Aju, and thank you so much. And from this point, before to call some assigned person who will share their reflection. Is there anyone in the Zoom who wants to share their reflection or who wants to volunteer? If there's none, I think let's proceed on Miss Maria Irene Parsan from UPTA. She's also educator and lecturer, and let's welcome her in a virtual round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, heavenly parents and true parents. I hope I'm audible. Naririnig po ba ako? Nang malinaw? Hello? Hello po.
Yes po, naririnig po kayo.
Okay po. Thank you. So, good morning to everyone. I feel amazing on the lecture for today, or kung ano po yung mga na-share po. And nabanggit po ni Reverend Leo Angelo. One of the things that I remember on those, actually marami po. So, ang dami pong very good learnings na mababaon today. And one of the things that was mentioned is, na-mention po na love comes from pity and eventually lead to unity. So love grows with time, something to nurture, and no such thing as love at first sight. So it needs to grow and develop. Um, Actually, yun po yung madalas kasing naririnig natin, that love is about chemistry, fluttery feelings, or magic. Although this makes love dependent on sheer luck and immediate satisfaction. So it makes people wonder, looking for that person that can give that kind of feeling, pero hindi naman po talaga ganun kadali. So as I've understood it, love does not happen automatically. It requires effort. It's not like wanting to have money by playing the lottery, sabi nga nila. So instead, you need to save up and invest to reap the benefits over time. And na-mention din po kanina about the families that live in hardship is not necessarily happy. That also signifies that not material things can give you happiness. And sometimes a quote was mentioned before na you have become mature enough when the things that you want can no longer be bought. And I think that is correct kasi it doesn't necessarily mean na you're not in a very wealthy family, hindi ka na masaya. So nag-agree din po ako doon. And it was highlighted din po kanina that try to dig out all the beautiful points in your spouse. It's like counting your blessings kasi po. So parang ganun din po yun, counting your blessing than what is lacking. And sometimes, although this is not easy, because for some people or some persons are wired for us to, look for what is wrong, what is the flaw, rather than to look what is positive. So what it tries to tell us is that to practice ourselves to highlight what are the good characters of the person or the husband and the wife, and accept the flaws and try to learn uh, from what it is. And that goes both ways for the husband and the wife. And we should not be selfish enough. Parang mas iintindihin po natin kung ano yung gusto natin. It should be how it is for our partner. Um, and it was highlighted also na as long as you continue to regard him only from that narrow perspective, you cannot find ideal love. So sometimes how we see things brings the problem. So we have to change how we look at things. And gusto ko po yung na-mention po kanina na true love never gets old. It becomes more beautiful the older it gets. I just remember na, yun nga sabi nila, like how wine is, as it grows old, it tastes better. Babalik ko lang din po ito dun sa na-mention kanina ni True Father that love grows with time. So, yun din po yung message ng true love never gets old. And lastly po, it was mentioned that heaven starts in the family unless you can find God in your spouse, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. And this is really important because family, although it's just the smallest unit of society, is powerful enough to bring down. Kasi kapag nagkaroon ng breakdown sa family, it would also have a domino effect to the nation and society. So that's why it is important as for the husband and the wife to find the true love centered on true love, and then centered in God's and heavenly parents love. That is all po for my reflection for today. Thank you.
Miss Maria Irene Parsan for very wonderful reflection. I think her reflection pointed that the family is the school of love or the starting point of love between husband and wife. Thank you so much. Next, I would like to call Doc Jenin Biloria Tamundong, the daughter of Dr. Reginette Biloria. She is also one of the UP3 educator or lecturer. So let's welcome her with a virtual round of applause.
Hello? Okay. Good morning, brothers and sisters. Good morning, heavenly parents and true parents. Good morning po. So for the reflection, I'm Janine Tamondong po. I was just recently blessed last May 25, 2021. But I'm not yet, I have not yet started a family. So I don't know if I can actually really relate to this, but I'll just tell you a short story. So before blessing, I was really hesitant because I was scared of who my partner will be and etc. However, thankfully for our educators and lecturers, what stick to my mind, that's why I accepted to go into blessing was that whoever your spouse will be, it will be your Messiah. So 'di ba, blessing will actually save us from our original sin. So that's what I always thought na. Whoever it is that will be matched with me will be my Messiah. And then my spouse, I actually met him a year before na na-match kami. And at that time, I'm not really fond of him because when we were having a tour, parang, kasi siya yung nagmamanage ng mga dorm, ganyan. And I was looking for a dorm. And he told me that the dorm, this one, this small, you can eat there whenever you want. And then this other 24 hours where you can have anything for 24 hours. And this also restaurant, it delivers. And then at that point, I was kind of chubby. So I thought, so he thinks that I am, natakaw ako, ganyan. Kaya sinasabi niya kung saan laging pwedeng makakain. That's what I thought of him. And then fast forward to a year after and then, wow, wow, he was matched with me. But however, I always thought that whoever will be matched with me will be my Messiah. So I tried to forget about it. And we got to know each other. And what I learned from him, I think it can be actually reflected through the points that our national leader actually taught. So first is the love at first sight doesn't really happen. For instance, 'di ba? I was not really fond of him, but through God, I saw him and I got to eventually develop the kind of love that was supposed to be so that it will eventually lead to unity once we start our family. And then the other thing is that the husband-wife relationship brings together opposites. So to be honest, when I got to know him, we are polar opposites. I am a very talkative person. He is a very silent person. I am a very emotional person and he is a very calm person. So I think it actually made things balance. It balanced things between us. And then and through that, I think for now we're not really together yet, but I think through the guidance of our true parents and heavenly parents, I'm trying to study him in all directions, but I don't know if I'm successful because he's really very silent. And I talk most of the time, so I don't know if I'm able to study him. And then also, diba, love makes things beautiful according to our true parents. So actually, I always ask him because nga, 'di ba, I thought that he thought that I was chubby like that. So I always ask him, "Do you think I'm chubby like that?" But he doesn't say I'm chubby. He says, "No, you're not. You look slim." So I think that's true. Or I don't know if I'm imposing it to him. Maybe at some point in time. And then last is heaven starts in the families. So I am together with my mom, and I think, most of the time when we talk, sometimes we fight. However, when we always remember the divine principle, um we always resolve our problems. And before, when we were not yet, we just know the teachings of the divine principle, but we're not really living by it. Most of the time, when my mom and I fight, we just don't talk for like a number of hours, and then there's bitterness the day after. However, as we live by the divine principle, I think you can say that if you go to our house, it's more inviting already. And whenever we fight, we just laugh it after. And as long as we always think of heavenly, as long as we think of the teachings always, my mom and I always come at the end of the day and we always hug each other. So I think that's my reflection for the day. Thank you po.
Thank you so much. Very wonderful reflection. I very love your reflection, because no one without exemption, especially the members, really relate to your testimony or to your realization. Truly not, whoever will be our partner will become our Messiah. But along the way, we challenge, our life of faith has been challenged, o matcha-challenge at matcha-challenge ka talaga. Kaya kapag dumating ka sa time na you're being matched, so it is normal to feel being struggling. But through the centering on the blessing, the struggling between husband and wife is for good, for greater purposes. Unlike the partners in the secular world, they are sweet in the beginning, but along the way, they fighting each other, and that leads to breakup. So thank you so much. And for if there's news and announcement, I would like to call on our HQ staff to share some news and announcement.
Good morning, leaders, brothers, and sisters. Here are the news and announcements of the Divine Principle Virtual Seminar from today until December 5, 2021, every 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. There will be a registration fee of 1,200. And next, there is also a 7-day series Divine Principle Virtual Seminar from November 16 to 22, every 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. with 210 registration fee. For more information, feel free to contact Ms. Marvic Advincula at 0965-981-2179. Next, on November 20 and 21, there will be the online Asia Pacific Sundays School Teachers Training Workshop. For more information, please contact Mrs. Kayo Halog, the Head of Education Department for Blessed Children, at her phone number 0967-246-9149. Next, this coming November 27, we will have the 12 Yojong Chonbu Special Online Event. We encourage all blessed families and members to join in this very significant event. For registration, please email at hjcbfils@gmail.com or message at the official Chonbu Facebook page, HJ Chonbu Fils. The registration deadline is until November 24, 2021. We would like also to remind all blessed families and members about the Yajong offering. You can send your donation until November 30, 2021. You can send your precious donation to the bank accounts flash on your screen. For the peso donation, you can send it to our PNB peso account. And for dollar donation, you can send it to our BPI dollar account. That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, our HQ staff, for some news and announcement and some very important event. So mark your calendar as well. To proceed us on the closing prayer, I would like to invite one of the UPTA lecturers, Mrs. Ralina Peralta Dolendo.
Okay, good. Narinig po ako?
Yes po, go ahead.
Okay. Good morning. Let us pray. Please join me in prayer. Good morning once again, our most loving Heavenly Parents, and to parents of heaven, earth, and humankind. Heavenly Father, as we close this morning devotion, we are very grateful from the singing of the Journal Book Anthem to the awakening opening prayer. Then the Honduclair reading, wherein we are reminded that you never abandon us, Heavenly Parent, like how you set up to overcome the hindrances of the Yankee Stadium rally more than 30 years ago. Also, the artistic and candid gratitude points, and then the offering song that profess that you are above everything, Heavenly Parents. We also learn so many things in the internal guidance about how to deal with marriage life, wherein you guided us that our opposite characteristics as husband and wife are natural in the original ideal world and the law of love. We learn today truly that we need to exert effort in order for us to be happy in the family, so that through our good relationship we can nurture our children to become good citizens. Through our beautiful relationship with our spouse, then eventually we can also influence our neighbors through our lifestyles on how we live our life in harmony, no matter how humble and simple our life is. This will lead us to bring them to the blessing and multiply the blessing in our neighborhood until everybody receive the blessing and all go back to your bosom, Heavenly Parents. Indeed, Heavenly Father, we are grateful for your continuous guidance through our national leader every day. We are excited and looking forward for the next morning devotion. With the heart of gratitude, we all humbly pray, report, and offer this morning devotion representing all of us here in attendance. In the names of Ray and Relina Dolendos and Caldas family, Archie.
Joe, thank you so much for giving a closing prayer. Let us offer unison prayer. Joe.
Adyo.
Again, let's give our final greetings to our heavenly parent and true parents. Good morning once again, our heavenly parent and true parents. Good morning, our national leader, all leaders, blessed families, brothers and sisters. Good morning. Thank you so much for all became part of this program. May the love and blessings of our heavenly parent and true parents be always with you from now to tomorrow and forevermore. Thank
Morning,
you.
Kuya Romel.
Morning.
Morning, Senator Manny Pacquiao. Thank you for joining with us.
Morning,
Morning,
happy
birthday.
Ngayong aga,
Morning, Brother Elias. Sonia.
Have a nice day, everyone.
Manny Pacquiao po, for President.
Thank you very much for
Morning, keep up the message. Thank you po, Senator Manny Pacquiao, for joining with us here.
Great.
Hello, morning. Hello, Marcos po.
Have a blessed day. Blessed day.
Morning.
Hello. Morning. Kay Sir Roel. Manny Pacquiao po tayo, Sir Roel.
Morning po, brother.
Malakas po si Manny Pacquiao dyan sa Lucena, Sir Roel. Huwag na po kayo mag-levy.
Hello.
Hey, nandun po yay. Ayun na. Ayun na.